Today I'm going to talk about precepts. When you hear the word precepts, what is your reaction? Do you like this word? Not really. Do you know what is meant by the word precept? A general definition of precept is a rule intended to regulate behavior or thought as a moral guideline. Most religious traditions have some sort of precepts. In traditional Buddhism, there are 10 precepts for lay practitioners, for ordained monks 250, and for nuns 348. In one Buddhism, there are 30 precepts for everybody. Lay or ordained, male, female, and non-binary. That's why I chose one Buddhism. In comparison, Islam has 5 pillars for their religious practice: the declaration of faith, shahada, prayer, charity, fasting, and the Hajj pilgrimage. In the Judeo-Christian tradition, the 10 commandments are the essential precepts. In the New Testament, the main tenet is the admonition to love each other. Love one another, love your enemy. In the Sermon on the Mount, Jesus told those gathered, "You have heard it was said, eye for eye, and tooth for tooth. But I tell you, do not resist an evil person. If anyone strikes you on the right cheek, turn to them the other cheek also." Matthew 5:38. If anyone strikes you on the right cheek, turn to them the other cheek. Wow, can you do this? This line advocates Christian pacifism and non-resistance, which is similar to non-action in Taoism. No matter which tradition we follow, a precept is like a personal contract for our spiritual journey. It is like a peace treaty with ourselves, so that we do not harm ourselves or others. Unfortunately, sometimes precepts are treated by practitioners with rigidity. The result can be harmful. One way for the religion to escape rigidity is for its precepts to be introduced gradually and carefully, anticipating the unpredictability and resistance of human nature. This is the approach taken by Won Buddhism from its very beginning. The goal is a step-by-step discovery of our true nature. Here, we can raise a question. If one of the goals of a spiritual path is liberating ourselves, then why do we need precepts that seem to constrict and limit our freedom? There is a passage from Won Buddhism scripture about precepts. In this passage, a visiting Christian pastor asks our founding teacher, Sotae-san, a similar question. The Christian pastor said, "All religions talk about precepts, but precepts seem to oppress the pure inherent nature of human beings and restrain their free spirit. This can create many obstacles for attracting new adherents." The founding master replied, "Why do you think that?" I like Sotae's question to the pastor. It invited dialogue and encouraged him to elaborate. The pastor went on to say, "There are some people in this world who reject religions because they do not understand their truths. Also, many hesitate to enter a faith even while sensing the sacredness of the teachings because in their hearts they feel uncomfortable about precepts. Wouldn't this type of person have been open to entering a faith were it not for precepts? What do you think? To this, the founding master responded, "You know, only to lament the fact that such people may not be open to deliverance. But haven't you considered the grave consequences in other areas? We have 30 precepts, and since none can be eliminated, I have people keep them all. However, we prescribe precepts to individuals in stages according to their capacity. Whoever enters our order for the first time will have some difficulties severing their old secular habits. For them, we prescribe 10 precepts that can easily be observed. Then, at the next 2 stages, we prescribe 10 more each. After a practitioner masters all 30 precepts, we don't prescribe anymore, but leave it to the person's discretion. Because a person who has achieved that level of practice will know in advance what is appropriate and inappropriate and behave accordingly. However, people who have not reached this level cannot be left alone without any precepts, for how can a beginning practitioner be treated the same as a knowledgeable practitioner? There are far more ignorant than knowledgeable people in this world. What you just advocated is appropriate only for 1 in 1,000. How can we prescribe a Dharma that is appropriate only for a few and neglect the rest? Furthermore, if we lived by ourselves, it wouldn't matter if we just did as we pleased. But as we live in the world, we humans face a web of laws and are widely watched by the general public. So, if we indulge in wrongful conduct, where would we hide? Therefore, I conclude that when a person goes out into the world, one should be cautious of every step, as if treading on thin ice, so as not to deviate from the human way. Thus, I cannot help but prescribe precepts to practitioners. It's like a PPP, prescribe precepts to practitioners. This passage is from verse 25, chapter 2, Doctrine. This conversation took place in 1928 in Iksan at the Won Buddhism headquarters in South Korea. I appreciate the Sotae-san sought out interfaith conversation such as this, especially since Christianity was foreign and unpopular in Korea at the time. Be cautious of every step, as if treading on thin ice, so as not to deviate from the human way. If we all are mindful of every word and every action, as if treading on thin ice, how much difference would it make in our personal and also in our collective worlds? Today's passage reminds us of the intention and purpose of precepts in Won Buddhism. Not to deviate from the human way. Precepts are not about discipline of absolute faith. They are more for becoming compassionate human beings for the sake of all humanity, so that we bring blessings and grace rather than harm to our lives. Because precepts are not about discipline of absolute faith, Sotaesan said that they are prescribed in stages according to a person's capacity. A unique aspect of Won Buddhism is that precepts are introduced gradually. Our spiritual growth can be reflected in the journey of adopting and following the 30 precepts. Here are the first 10 precepts. You want to hear about it? Do not kill without due cause. Do not steal. Do not commit sexual misconduct. Do not consume intoxicants without due cause. Do not gamble or play idle games. Do not use harsh speech. Do not fight without due cause. Do not embezzle public funds. Do not borrow or lend money between close friends without due cause. Lastly, do not smoke tobacco without due cause. You may be wondering, what is meant by due cause? The meaning of due cause can change according to circumstances, according to the era, culture, and needs of individuals. Years ago, when I was flying from Korea to Brazil for the World Scout Conference, I certainly felt unwell with chills and nausea. My instinct told me to ask the flight attendant for a little wine, and that helped me to get through the flight. This is an example of due cause. Who decides what is meant by due cause? I do. You do. We each decide for ourselves. Out of 10 precepts, 5 of them say without due cause. This gives beginning practitioners autonomous power to pursue the essence of the precepts and focus on the original intent rather than on external formalism. Due cause is not used as an excuse to escape from the precepts, but is designed to broaden the opportunity for people from all walks of life to begin and pursue their Dharma journeys. When the founding master was once visiting the Busan region, the biggest port city in Korea, some followers paid him a visit and said, "We have the utmost respect for the great master's Dharma, but since we make our livelihood by fishing, we are constantly breaking the first precept of not killing. We are ashamed and discouraged about this." The founding master replied, "Don't worry. A person's occupation is difficult to change overnight. Even if you break 1 precept out of 30, but earnestly keep the other 29, you will still be able to contribute immeasurable blessings to society. Just because you are unable to observe 1 precept, why would you let yourself fall into the abyss of transgression and suffering by not observing the other 29 that you can keep? Moreover, if you're able to observe the 29 precepts well, then a way for you to observe the remaining 1 will naturally appear. With such faith, keep going with your practice without being discouraged. My takeaways from this passage are: follow as many precepts as you can. Don't worry about being perfect. Focus on what you are able to do now. Sincere practice will open a way. Sotaesan said, a person's occupation is difficult to change overnight. This shows his approach to the precepts is not strictly rule-based. Instead, Master Sotaesan gives us room to be realistic about human needs and behavior. He valued the way of life over the purity of religious doctrine. My classmate Gyeomunim shared a story from his temple in Ansan City in Korea. A member in his temple ran a business in the fish market. He had to kill many eels to sell them to the public. When he expressed his dilemma to the temple Gyeomunim, the Gyeomunim could not say, "Close down your business," because it had been that member's livelihood for a long time before he discovered Won Buddhism. Eventually, though, the temple member changed his business and opened a cold noodle restaurant. My classmate Gyeomunim shared with me that it was a relief to know that his restaurant business is going very well. Follow as many precepts as you can. Don't worry about being perfect. Focus on what you are able to do now. Sincere practice opens a way. In Won Buddhism, precepts are directly connected with the mindful choice in action, the third element of the threefold practice. One of the creative ways to practice is, out of the 10 precepts, 20 precepts, or 30 precepts, you can pick one or two and devote your attention to it. For example, the precept I have put in my daily mindfulness list for a while is, do not talk while someone else is talking. As I have focused on this, I have become more aware of this habit and am able to pause more before speaking. Do not talk while someone else is talking. This precept also reminds me to just listen when someone interrupts me. Precepts are important for peaceful human interactions. They are like guardrails that keep us from harm. Precepts help us develop our daily life according to the Tao of humanity. When we work with our precepts, let's be sincere and honest, but let's not force ourselves. Let's remember that when we are tuned into our true nature, the realm of Il-Wan-Sang, the ultimate realm of truth, we naturally come to follow and observe them. Our practice becomes effortless and at ease. In Won Buddhism, after mastering the 30 precepts in groups of 10, we are invited to create our own Shimge. Shimge, the precept our heart and mind assigns to ourselves. I'm grateful that Sotaesan empowers us to create our own Shimge, because in the ultimate way of honoring precepts, rules drop away, and we trust our true nature to guide us. Thank you.